Most of us know the basic story. Apollo falls in love with Daphne, but Daphne is having none of it. He pursues and she flees. As with every hunter and hunted, the flight and pursuit are two parts of the same drama. But here, the separate themes of demon and ascesis are given a definitive form. This happens because there is an important backstory that explains the flight and pursuit. Apollo, himself an expert archer, is having some fun with Eros one day in Olympus, if there is such a thing. He makes fun of Eros's inability to hit the right target ever. This, in effect, is a Lacanian setup. Eros replies that he always hits the target because, in fact, where his arrows end up are the targets. This logic of self-fulfilling prophecy is inflicted on Apollo himself. Eros explains that one and the same arrow will make him love Daphne and will make Daphne hate Apollo. Aren't we in the same terrain as poor Judge Schwaber, who, in order to say that he loves his analyst, must say that the analyst hates him, and thus change the agent and the act at the same time? I would say yes. But here, we're actually given the idea that an arrow can shoot in two directions at the same time, one back at the lover/archer Apollo, which backfires. All of this is strewn with contronyms, the so-called primal terms that excited Freud when he read the essay of Karl Abel. Historically flawed though it might have been, it made Freud consider what happens before negation has developed full powers of creating binary signifiers. Before love and hate can oppose each other by a logical mind, the mythic mind must allow the two to penetrate each other in the creation of an uncanny composite. Here is the perfect setup for anamorphosis, or, as in Daphne's case, metamorphosis, into the laurel tree that we take to be her only escape from Apollo's embrace. If Eros and Eros can be equated here for a few moments, we can put the picture into a clearer focus. Instead of a reciprocity of lover and beloved, we have a simultaneous motion or effect, or effectiveness, that virtually penetrates Apollo and Daphne simultaneously. The problem, as with all contronyms, is that we can't see what's happening. For this uncanny merger of love and hate, we have to have a metaphor, a way of visualizing, in what we might call a pictorial or Euclidean way. This gives us the demon and ascesis, the chaser and the chased. This is the story of Apollo's pursuit of Daphne. If this structure of arrows pursuing each other seems familiar, I would refer you to the mysteries of Zeno, who, if anything, provides a kind of encyclopedia of the Greek obsession with races, arrows, things never reaching their targets, all raw materials for the question of infinity, or rather the horror of infinity, what some scholars have argued gave rise to the popularity of Euclid, who seemed to put infinity into its place for once and for all. You might think of it this way. Projective geometry is the backstory of Euclidean geometry, and in the Apollo-Daphne story, we have a glimpse of this. Apollo is after all the god of the sun, whose rays go in one direction and in perfect parallel. This was something of a paradox, for the sun was clearly the source, but it was an actual point source, disproving Euclid's fifth postulate about parallel lines never meeting. Apollo, in mythology, would obviously have a tangle with Eros, who, as a proper demon, paid no attention to the function of negation, which might force him to keep love and hate in their own corners. Eros's bidirectionality is certainly a reason to consider him as a contender for the position of god of contradictions, as anyone who has been in love will know and declare the contest as decided. But don't forget Hermes, god of thieves and seducers, underscoring the idea that love is automatically a form of theft, a piece of wisdom that allows Hermes to cross other forbidding boundaries, such as the one separating death and life.